Hey, I'm Scott Christiansen with Storm Drones LLC, based just south of Salem, Oregon, and this is my first iteration, basically, of spray drone setup with running a single J150 flying off the ground, and let's kind of just take a look at what we got going on here. Up front, I've got a 2009 3/4 ton Ram pickup, 6-foot short bed, running two Predator 9500 quiet run generators that can run at full throttle and basically never hear them out of the bed. Fresh water up front with the hose on the other side, just for 100 gallons, just to, you know, wash hands, wash off, wash drone out, tank, anything you kind of need. Coming on back here, we've got a 24-foot, I believe it's like a mid-2000s enclosed race trailer with a folding down ramp in the back that we'll get to here soon. Awning on the side with exterior light, interior 120, and exterior 120 with 12-volt lighting for just kind of on-the-fly quick setup. So we could take a look here inside. Pull up to a field, drop the tailgate on the pickup. Got my charger and batteries up here up front. One of them kind of just rests back with the drone in the back for storage. Pull up, get my generators going so I can run my charger whenever I need to and get my fresh water going, because I feel like I always just should have fresh water even if I'm not using it yet. Just always have it on hand, pull my hose out. I got a Honda pump here isolated to this 200-gallon hot mix tank with recirculation and freshwater fill for wash and for filling up as I need. You know, I got these cabinets here inside that came with the trailer that I saw the value in those just for storage. Keep my controller up here. I got a workbench, got room to store extension cords if I need to put my charger at the back. As I was building through this, I wanted to try to have as many things in the beginning that I could utilize to be as flexible as I could by still being on a budget. We can come out here to the back and we can open it up so you can see inside. We got here in the back folding ramp with a little extra flap, as well as I added a little metal piece over the gap to get the drone in and out of the trailer easier. I've got a, what is this? I want to say it's a 3-foot by 60-inch Rubbermaid deck. So it's kind of like the composite flooring that some of the fancier trailers have up on top that the drone rests on. I can undo this ratchet strap across the bottom, roll the whole thing out. It's very nice to be able to have this this cart, because, you know, people run like a Roadrunner type setup. I don't have room for a crane in here. 150 is a big heavy drone. I don't want to go breaking my back every day. I have a 200-gallon hot batch tank, and then two 275-gallon IBC totes for fresh water, and then I can just come back and refill here at our dairy farm if I need to, or usually here in Oregon, most growers have, you know, either a yard or something where you can get some fresh water if you need to. With it being a race trailer, it's got, you know, all the lighting already inside, the cabinets for storage, and then it had this awning, which I haven't used a lot yet because it hasn't gotten hot yet. But as it gets into summer here, I got the exterior lighting with the awning. I can pull it out and pop it up right, so I can have some shade that way that everybody, you know, is looking for, you know, when it's 95 degrees out here. It's a pretty bare bones basic setup, and, you know, trailer cost me just over 10 grand. Totes were pretty cheap off of Facebook. You know, outside of the trailer, the most expensive thing was the generators, which you can get a bigger single generator and run it if you'd like, but I really like having the two generators. They're so quiet, you just can't beat it. And get the warranty at Harbor Freight. They're all over the country. You know, you can just go in and get a new one if you need to. Some people go out and they go gung-ho and go 2 drones out the get-go, but, you know, I'd like to try to get this whole thing paid off, and ideally keep it as a second setup or just for storage for the winter to keep everything out of the elements and, you know, keep it dry, keep it clean all winter. So coming inside the trailer here, I've got 2 IBC totes, 275s. So it's roughly, you know, safely about 500 gallons of storage. The trailer is only rated for about 10,000 pounds, so I try not to fill everything up crazy anyways. You could get a race trailer with, you know, heavier duty axles, but trying to stay in budget and trying to not go with a super long trailer. I mean, 24 foot on a bumper pole is already long enough. So I run the 2 totes right over the axles. I've got a gas Predator 2-inch pump here that sucks from that, and then I can fill my hot mix tank of 200 gallons right here through this guy. There's a nipple inside I can spin, so if I have extra water for the field that I'm doing, I can you know, kind of pre-rinse and just add as I need to add, clean out and as I'm scrubbing through the tank. And then I've got a bypass here for in case I close this off, just to recirc through a garden hose back into there so I'm not deadheading on the pump constantly. And, you know, I have the ability to, you know, rinse hands or whatever on the fly if I need to. If for some reason, let's say my generator goes down or something and I don't have fresh water, or I lose my pump or something, I got 2 fresh water hand washing sources essentially that way. And then coming over here to the hot tank, it's a 200 gallon, 15-degree angle bottom cone tank I got. This is the only thing in here that I spent big money on outside of the generators outside. Pumps are fairly affordable, but this tank new with the stand and some of the plumbing and everything all came out to right around $1,000 in plumbing and everything. So coming out the bottom, we have a 2-inch outlet with a valve on it in case something happens. I need to switch pumps. I do have wrenches and the ability to switch the pumps if one pump goes down, or, you know, run out of gas completely and this pump still has gas in it. Then coming out the top, I have recirc back in with an eductor. That's got a valve for if I need to really mix if we're up to 200 gallons, or if we're getting real low, I can shut that off. And then coming out the other side, I've got a swivel on some 1-inch braided hose that comes out up on top of here on my tanks. I've got a 50-foot retractable hose reel with a swivel end on it with an 1.5-inch outlet that I just manually filled the drone in about 50 seconds to about a minute roughly, depending, which is good. I could run the pump faster. I run at it just a little bit above idle, but if I ran it much faster, I'd have to stay at the drone while it's filling and be able to shut it off before I can get my batteries back. I got my controller up here in this little case that I got just to make it a little bit more rugged. Turn the controller on, grab a battery, fold the drone out, let them sync and get all connected to GPS and everything. And then while that's happening and maybe you got a battery charging, I'll start grabbing chemical. Usually I can pre-fill this before I leave with however much water I need in this tank for usually one field, because fields are smaller out here. But, you know, let's say I'm going to a bigger field and I got to drive quite a ways. I'll fill those up to about 100, 130 gallons depending, so I don't lose a whole bunch of water out the top. And then if I need to, I can supplement out of these. So I can hold about 600 gallons of water safely. I've got a pass through here in the floor if I need, as well as one from the outside that goes in here on the side. And here at our shop especially, I've got just a 1-inch big water hose. I shove that usually through the side one, and I'll start by filling up this guy. And then if I start filling up the 2 totes, they siphon into each other, so I only have to put it in 1 tote. The race trailer is kind of nice because it's got this you know, little kind of desktop area that I usually just keep my controller here. So I'll pop this open, and, you know, I don't fly from here, but, you know, I can throw up some random stuff here, some gloves if I need, knife, paperwork, clipboard, you know, a couple random spare parts if I need up here in this tray, locks, keys, anything. And then down below here, I can store my extension cords if I need to have some extra jugs or antifreeze on me if it's getting close to winter. And then the seed box spreader. I tend to usually operate out of this area when I'm mixing up a tank for the day, or for, you know, each batch. Have all my chemical jugs sitting here or just outside the door. Have the rec pull up here on my laptop or on my phone so I can reference it if I need to. Hop up on top of the tank, dump in, and if I start second guessing myself, I can quickly glance over here and see what I got going on. And then coming over here into some of the cabinetry, this first one here is where I mostly store PPE, so I got some disposable gloves, as well as sometimes I'll double up on gloves. I'll put these on and these, or I'll just throw on some heavy duty thick gloves if I'm just handling jugs that maybe something spilled on the outside. All my measuring equipment's in here, as far as pitchers and everything, tank cleaners, If you're running a spray drone setup, it's nice to have some defoamer, especially if you're getting into some Roundup or herbicide treatments. I got 2 scales in here for, if you're doing a whole bunch of granular work, it's nice to have more than 1 scale. So especially if you have a second person helping you, doing some super light, dusty stuff, you can pour one in, you can start dumping in, they can start pouring in another one and have 2 of them ready. So you just kind of keep going. And then try to have as much storage for tools as I can. This is my personal shop essentially for my home, my truck, my trailer, the drone setup, everything. So I got like random miscellaneous adapters for the trailer in here, a couple screw guns, impact and socket set. And then over here on top of the totes, I have a pack out set with some different sockets, Allen wrenches and everything. Anything I need basically to work on the drone, for sure, I prioritize and have that in the pack out. And then here in these other cabinetries, I have like a jack if I have a flat tire, got a spare tire for the trailer, impact with sockets and batteries if I need to change a tire on. I got a mini bike for mapping if I need to change a tire on that, Allen wrenches, all that good stuff. Anything that's on the J150 is usually metric and it's usually Allen headed. So it's nice to have all those tools. So if I have a minor breakdown or if I notice anything going bad that I have a spare part for, I got the tools with me. I don't have to pack up and leave and go home and wait to come back. I can just, land the drone, or if it's before I take off for the day, tighten up that loose bolt or something and I'm good to go for the day. So typically when I'm operating, I got the Honda motor going up front. Just touch over idle, nothing too crazy. Got the bypass valve for agitate partially open, and the rest of the pressure is going to be diverted out to this guy, which is pulled out, and we'll get to that in a second. So most everything that's going on here is I just got recirc and chemical mixed up going. Comes out this hose. Drone usually parks right here on that cart. So take the ratchet strap off, move the boot. I'll pull the cart out, come down. I have a table that goes right next to the totes. I'll come outside. I tend to run out of the passenger side of my pickup just because I got the man door on the trailer on that side, so if I need to walk in, make another batch, double check a chemical list, or I tend to set my batteries on the step going in just so that they're out of the elements a little bit more there. And then as we come around over here, if I want to, if I'm operating for a long day or it's gonna be super hot out, I got the awning on this side. It's kind of why I just prefer this side a little bit. Got the awning, hose reaches out both ways, so that's not a big deal. But I like this for some reason, have my charger on this side of the truck. Seems like I can get a little bit further away from the tongue. I do have those extension cords inside, so I can bring it all the way to the back here if I desire. I just find myself not wanting to take the time to set that up most of the time, so I just set the charger up front there. I'll bring in my chemical over here to my drone, start filling that. I'll walk back over here, grab a battery, and tend to have the chemical tank going right here. If I got any other jugs or paperwork, I got it all set up in here. I'll set charged batteries here, depleted batteries on the ground, get ready to swap into the charger, just right here on the corner. Got the generators going. I love these generators so far, they're nice and quiet. So if there's a battery that's still charging, I'll grab my third battery, grab it, come over here to the drone, which is currently on the cart. So if I was just starting, I would start just exactly like this, take up off the cart, and then while it's out doing its first pass, after I'm away from any obstacles, or even sometimes when it's returning to home after the first pass, I'll throw the handle on real quick and drag it back over here next to me at my table just so it's out of the way. The table is essentially just so I can drape my hose up and set my controller down while I'm grabbing batteries. It's just nice to have somewhere to just set things real quick, especially like the controller. I really like having the controller where I can just turn off the main battery on the drone. So it lands, it quits spinning props. I'll go onto the controller real quick and power off the main battery so that the drone's already disconnected and off. So I can take my hose out over here, stick it in the drone, turn the valve on, take the dead battery out, usually go plop it right in the charger, grab a fresh battery, drop it in, turn it on, and then usually right as the battery is turned on and the drone's finished syncing into the controller, the tank's usually 90% capacity or so. And I don't always run full loads because a lot of these fields out here are pretty short runs and usually have to do a lot of turns because we get some wind that drifts over. So it's nice to stay kind of in that 30 to 34 foot swath range just to make sure you get nice efficient coverage. So after the first pass, the drone will just land here on the ground in the grass usually if it's short enough. I've had a couple instances where I've had to land every time on the cart. That is a manual land just because of the size of it and not having RTK set up. But it's, you know, with enough practice, it's really doable and easy to do. You know, once you get out, do it once or twice during the day, the rest of the times are pretty simple. You can just usually go stick straight down. So it's usually a manual land onto the cart. But if I can land on the ground for all the passes besides the first and last, and I only land on the cart at the end so I don't have to try to lift the drone onto the cart. It's already on there. I can drain anything out. It's ready to be washed. I can stick a new battery in so I can wash all my lines out, pull the battery out, fold the drone up. It's all washed up, put the handle in, roll it right back into the trailer here, and I'm ready to go to the next field. So that about wraps up this trailer setup. It's my first setup. You know, it's built for me specifically because, you know, I built what I thought I wanted. You know, and if you're out there and want to do something simple, you need storage for the winter time, or let's say you need to travel a distance and sometimes you got to go over a mountain or something where the weather could be a little bit more inclement. This is a great setup for that. You know, I mean, don't be afraid to land the drone in a tight area, you know, just be safe and practice it a whole bunch. But I really like this setup. It's really budget friendly. I'm into it less than 20 grand with everything, power, you know, plumbing, cart, you know, everything outside of the drone itself is under 20 grand. So that's it.